Now that's a great question, and one that first-time homebuyers ask themselves all the time. Should they buy resale or should they buy new construction? Now, as this question is intended is, what about the option to build your new home? How's that work, and is that right for you? After watching today's episode, you'll know some things that are changing in the industry and also things to consider whether building your new home is right for you. My name is Andrew Finney, your real estate geek. If you need help finding a top agent where you live, or if you simply want to drop me a line to say hello, my contact info is below. If you're new here, please go ahead and subscribe to this channel now, like this video, and tap the bell icon to get notified of the next one. Thank you. Okay team, let's take a closer look at this. Now I would like to give some props to one of our subscribers and teammates. Her name is Christine C. She had hit me up on one of the live sessions or in the comment section of one of the episodes asking me about the difference in between getting 2 loans for a new construction versus 1. So we're going to talk about that a little bit, and it's going to make a lot more sense to you after today's episode. So Christine C, thank you for reaching out about that. It's a great question, and this is one of the things that may be changing the way that you buy your home going into the future. So typically what's happened here when you're looking at building a new construction home, you'd have the option, of course, to buy directly from the builder and be able to get a loan. And now that's a single loan that you would be getting with that builder. And there's other things that go into buying a new construction. If you're thinking about buying new construction, I suggest you check out the new construction playlist on my channel so you're very well informed and very well educated of what to expect from the new construction process. Now, that's normal, is getting 1 loan for a new construction home. When it comes into building your own new home, it's a little bit different. Typically what happens is you would have 2 loans for 1 home, and you might be wondering, 2 loans? I only need 1. Why do I need 2, right? Normally what happens with lenders that specialize in construction loans, they essentially set up a short-term loan just long enough to build the home because they have to get their money back at the end of the day, right? So once the construction is complete, your lender has to be paid off, typically through refinancing the property again into a new conventional loan. So essentially you're financing the construction of your new property and then taking out a mortgage on the property to pay off the lender to make sure they're wholly satisfied. Now, one thing to really think about, we're only talking about the building of a home, but what about buying the land? That's a different topic altogether, and one that we'll get into a little bit later in this video. Okay, so Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac are up to some really cool things. And in case you don't know who Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac are, they're essentially the biggest backers of all US-based mortgages. So Fannie Mae is trying to solve this problem and been working with different lenders. And they typically call this like a construction to a perm loan. Construction to perm is like, perm is just short for permanent. So they want to make it a little bit short. So construction to perm loans. Now the process can be difficult for a lender to manage. So what generally happens is that a lender is going to sell the loan that they issue to a prospective buyer, and they price them to sell within a specific time frame, let's say like 60 or 90 days after it's been funded. So normally what has to happen from the lender's point of view is they actually have to package it up and get it ready to sell to one of those investors. So the time that it takes to finish the construction, of course, not always in your favor when we're talking about the first scenario with the 2 loans for 1 home situation, because an investor can't purchase a home loan until after the construction is complete. And that could be anyone's guess when that's going to happen because construction takes different times, right? Things happen. So lenders that do offer the construction of the perm loan have to normally hold on to these loans for a lot longer to be able to sell them. If the interest rates rise during the time, the value of the loans drop dramatically, right? So the lenders could lose money on that loan. That's why you don't see a lot of lenders doing it. If you've ever talked to a local loan officer or any loan officer for that matter, and you're, oh, what? Tell me about your construction of perm loans. They're probably like, yeah, what? But they do exist. And as you can imagine, they're not going to come cheap. So it's really one of those things that could make sense, or maybe it doesn't make a lot of sense. It really depends on what your intention is and what you want to do and what the price of land is and the price of construction is in your area, right? So a prospective home buyer that wants to build his or her own home has been stuck with having to take a very high cost construction of the perm loan or pay for financing twice within a very short amount of time. One of those loans is normally for the construction loan and the other one is for the permanent loan, hence the construction to perm process, right? So now this is where Fannie Mae gets interesting. They're looking for a better solution that will strip away the complication of the issues here. And this really could be a game changer. Now, Fannie Mae has sent this up and trying to get this approved. It's one of those things that you want to chat with your local loan officer and see if it has been approved, but all the same, at least now you know that this thing is going to exist, or at least ways hopefully it exists, because it is a massive game-changing way to buy a home. So what is it exactly, right? Fannie Mae is actually proposing that they will buy the loan when construction starts. So that means that the lender could make the loan without taking any of the risk on for holding it for good Lord knows how long while the construction is being completed. So it's pretty cool that the lender still has the opportunity to manage the construction part of the loan, meaning that it's going to hold on to those funds for certain milestones to be met during the construction process and release those funds when certain milestones are hit, and then pay off all the contractors only upon completion of the project, which is your new home. You'll have to pay for this additional layer of administration essentially, but you won't have to pay for the risk of interest rates moving up, which could be pretty darn cool. And it could help you save a little bit of money because we're talking about one loan, not two. So Fannie Mae has actually sent this proposal up to the Federal Housing Finance Agency, which is its regulator. It's kind of like Fannie Mae's boss, if you will. And depending on when you're watching this video, it may be approved. So you need to check with a local loan officer and see if this is going to be an opportunity for you or what options they have for construction of the perms. So what might happen here is the Federal Housing Finance Agency might say, hey, Fannie Mae, you know what? That's a great idea. Why don't we test it? Why don't we roll out with it? But let's do it in a very small subset of the country, a very small subset of an area as a pilot program to see how it's really going to work. So it might not be widely available everywhere anytime soon, but it is one of those things that could definitely change the way that you have the opportunity to purchase a home going forward by building your own home. So now when you're thinking about new construction from a developer, well, normally they have all their own financing in hand anyways, so it's not going to impact you if you want to buy a new construction directly from a builder or work with a builder in that regard. This directly impacts you though if you're looking to build your own home construction, and in reality there's normally only a very small subset of people that actually look for these kind of loans to build. But I'm wondering if that's going to be something that changes going forward. I wonder if it was easier and it was a great solution that strips back the complication and the finances involved to get it, would you be building your own home as opposed to buying from a new builder or buying a resale? I don't know. Tell us what you're thinking about that in the comment section below and what you would choose to do. Now, as you're thinking about that, I want you to consider this. A lot of people think and get caught up on this idea of building the new construction. It can be sexy, it can be beautiful, it can be one of those things that your mind just runs wild with beautiful visions of your new place that you're going to call home and how wonderful it's going to be because you're going to make it custom. Don't forget that that home has to go somewhere, and that somewhere it has to go on is land. So unless you already own that land, you're going to have to also buy that land. Now, there's several things that are really interesting with land, and I made a video about this, so I'll go ahead and pop the card up for reference so you can check it out after watching this one about what you should know before buying land. Is you have zoning, you have the reality that some land has utilities ran to it and some land does not have the utilities ran to it. So guess who gets to bear the expense of bringing the utilities onto the land? The buyer does that wants to build the construction. Then there's a lot of codes that have to be followed, which of course your builders will know what to do, but it's going to cost extra money. So this option can actually be pretty expensive. So I'm pretty excited actually to see what happens here with Fannie Mae and how they're going to do it, because there's so many different expenses that go into actually building your own home. I'm curious to see how this is going to work out and how people are going to qualify with the different standards they're going to put in place whenever it becomes available. So let's keep our eyes out together on this. Now, if you're watching this and you know some other great opportunities out there that help people receive financing on new construction projects, whether it's they're building their own or what have you, please share it with us. Now, I hope you've learned a lot from today's episode. So here's what I'd like you to do is tell us what you're thinking about this episode in the comment section below, along with anything that you would suggest that could help people out and the questions that you have in your mind about this loan program that might happen in the future. Now I'm going to go ahead and pop up my contact information. If you simply want to drop me a line to say hello, or if you need help finding a top agent where you live, please let me know. Always love to hear from you, always here to help you. If you haven't already done so, I'm going to ask you to do three things. Number one, please subscribe to this channel. Number two, please like this video. And number three, please share this video around with someone you know is going to be able to help, because I'm sure you can think of someone else right now that's really thinking, what does it take to build my own new home? And what should I know? Share this with them so they get pointed in the right direction. Thank you. In between now and next time, I'm wishing you and yours a lifetime full of love, wealth, abundance, and happiness. Thank you for watching today, team, and enjoy an amazing day.